Right, we're going to do a short grounding practice today. So, this is perfect if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling anxious, if your mind is all over the place, if you're ever having trouble focusing. So, we're going to start in a mountain pose. We're going to start with our feet right under our hips right over our heels, shoulders right over our hips, and then lengthening through the spine. You can even imagine lengthening through the back of the neck and see how that gives you a little more length along your spine. And we're going to actually start by bringing our awareness out instead of turning it in right away. We're going to do an orienting practice here. So we're going to just let our eyes gaze around the room. This is a great practice to do anytime there's intense emotions or you're feeling overwhelmed as you turn in, and really letting your head be part of this movement, really feeling yourself into the space. You can look behind you, letting yourself know you're safe, seeing all the different colors and textures, and then coming back to center in this mountain pose. And we're going to start by doing a little bit of movement just with our feet. So when we are overwhelmed and we're anxious, often our energy is up here and we want to bring it down into our legs, into our feet, ground our body down into the earth. So we're going to inhale, we'll rock our weight a little forward onto our toes. Exhale, we'll push our weight back towards our heels. And you can do this lifting up. You can keep your feet on the ground. It doesn't matter, whatever feels best in your body. It's all good. And really feel the contact. Feel your feet touching the ground. And then we'll slowly make our way back to center. And just take a moment to pause. Notice if your feet feel different. Maybe you'll feel a little more connected. And then we're going to rock side to side. You can rock your hips side to side, shifting the weight from one side of the foot to the other. If you want to add your knees into this, you might shift your weight in that way. And you could play with both, see what works for your body. We're trying to feel something, but we're not trying to feel so much sensation that we have to leave our body, that we want to escape this experience. Beautiful. And then we'll come back to center. And again, just checking it out, getting curious what's happening with your feet right now. And now we're going to do a little combo of those two. We're going to try to turn this into circles. So you can do this feet totally grounded. You're just going to shift your weight forward, to the left, back, to the right, forward. And just going in that direction, we're just shifting the weight in a little bit of a circle. You're welcome to stay right here. This is great. If you want to add a little more, you can lift up onto your toes and maybe lifting your toes, lifting back towards your heels on the way back. And if not, stay at that first place. Totally cool. And then we'll come back to center again, just taking a moment to pause and notice. We're going to go the other direction now. So we'll go forward, right, back, left, and just finding your pace. We want to be moving kind of at the rhythm of our breath. So you can take half of the movement forward to the side for the inhale, the other half for the exhale. And then again, you can stay here, or you could lift up and back, and totally normal to lose balance. If you lose balance, just finding your way back to center. We'll do one more circle and then coming back, feeling your feet. And here, if you would like, you can close your eyes or just find a soft point of focus, just to notice if anything has shifted. Maybe your mind feels a little more centered, maybe it doesn't. There's no right way to do this practice. It is an experiment. What works for you might not work for me. What works for me might not work for you. Beautiful. You can open your eyes if they're closed, and we're going to do a little balancing pose here. So, balancing is one of the things that we can't be all over the place with our mind. We literally have to be in the present moment or we fall over. So, we're going to practice a tree pose here, and we're going to shift our weight to the right foot to start. You can also do this at a wall. You can bring your arm to a wall. You could do it with a chair in front of you, just to help your balance. So we'll bring our weight to the right foot and really feel a sense of grounding. Maybe even imagine roots extending from your foot down into the earth. And then we're going to start by bringing our ankle or our foot to our ankle. And you can be here. You want to pull into center. So you're pushing your leg and foot together, maybe hands at your heart. And stay here. You can lift up to your calf. And then if you'd like, you can grab your foot, lift up to your thigh. Just be careful not to put the weight on the knee. Any of these postures is great. And then start with your gaze out on the ground in front of you. Breathing deeply, maybe lifting your arms up, branches of the tree, maybe keeping them here. We're going to play with our gaze here. So you can keep your gaze at the ground. You want to test your balance. You can start to bring your gaze up to about the horizon line. Usually, this means balance is harder. And see if you can maintain balance. If you fall out, come back in, bring your gaze down if you need to. If you're feeling like, okay, I got this at the horizon, we're going to lift our gaze up, maybe towards the sky. This is a little more challenging. And then if you're feeling it, you've got the balance, you can try to close your eyes. That's usually where we topple over. Maybe you got it though. And then as you're ready, you can release. We'll come back to center. You can do a little wiggle if you want to wiggle. And just take a moment before we go to the other side to notice what's happening with the right side, what's happening with the left side. Is there a difference? Beautiful. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So bringing weight to the left leg, growing our roots down into the earth, and starting just foot at ankle, hands to the to the heart in prayer position. You can stay here, or again, you can lift it up to a higher position on your leg, just not the knee. And then bringing your gaze down out in front of you, ideally to a point that's not moving. And try to maintain a deep and even breath here. So our gaze and our breath are what to help us balance. So see if you can use those tools in this little moment and every moment. And then again, you can grow your branches. You could keep your hands at your heart, and we'll play with the gaze. So maybe bringing it up to about the horizon level. And just notice what happens with your balance there. It's no judgment, just curiosity. And then if you're feeling it, you can go up to the ceiling. You want to go to the next level, you can close your eyes. And then as you're ready, we'll come back to mountain pose. Just feeling your feet, feeling connected. And take a moment to notice the impacts of the practices we've done so far. Beautiful. And then we're going to make our way to a seated position. So you can grab something to sit on. I'm going to grab a bolster. You could do a folded blanket. You could sit on a pillow. We just ideally want our hips above our knees. So if we sit like this, we just add more tension. So we just want to find a place where we can sit. You could sit in a chair for this as well. Wherever you are, just make sure you are finding a position that is not adding more stress to your body. So we're coming to our seated position. You can have your eyes closed or a soft gaze here, whatever helps you to stay present with your internal experience. And sometimes that means not closing our eyes, but sometimes that's what we need to block out the sensory information. And we're going to do a breath practice here. So you can bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. You can also just rest your hands down on your knees. And we're going to start by just breathing deeply into the belly. So as you breathe in, you want to imagine your belly expanding like a balloon. And as you breathe out, belly back towards your spine. And for some of you, this might feel impossible, or your breath might actually go the opposite way. So sometimes we have reverse belly breathing. When we breathe in, our belly goes back in, and we breathe out, our belly expands. So just know that if that's your experience, that is also normal. People have that experience, but we want to work to get our belly to expand on our inhales and contract on our exhales. And we're going to do a count with our breath here. So, our breath is an amazing tool when we know how to use it to regulate the emotions, the energy in our system. So, if we're feeling overwhelmed, we need some grounding. We're going to try to lengthen our exhale, which is the part of our breath that helps our system to relax. So, we're going to inhale for 4, exhale for 8. I will lead us through that. You can do a different ratio. If you're like, that's too much, I can't do that, find your own ratio. It could be 1 to 2 to start. So as you're ready, you can release everything out with an exhale. And then inhale, we're going to inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And then take a few rounds with your own count. And if the counting adds more stress, just let it go and just try to focus on extending your exhale. And then as you're ready to complete the next round, you can just let that go, let your natural breath turn back on. And then we're going to end practice with just a moment of pause here in this seated position. There's a little more of you in contact with the chair or the ground now. So feel the points of contact with your body, whatever you're seated on. And maybe even imagine those roots growing out instead of just through your foot, through the entire lower part of your body, moving through whatever man-made layers are between you and the earth, and then rooting deep down into the earth. Just inviting what maybe feels heavy or overwhelming to move through those roots on an exhale, sending them down into the earth, allowing them to be metabolized. You don't have to hold it on your own. And then as you're ready, we're going to just take a moment to notice the impact of the practice. Noticing what you're feeling in your physical body. What's happening with your breath, quality of your mind. And then as you're ready, you can bring your hands together in a prayer position in front of the heart and just taking a moment, maybe bowing your head down to acknowledge yourself for taking time to be here with you in your body, to be present with yourself. And I hope you take any amount of presence or ease or groundedness you've cultivated back out into the world with you.